let's get started on part 2 of chapter 1. This is a rather advanced section in that we discuss migration, which is an advanced installation method. As you know, there are different installation methods. We already discussed a clean install and an upgrade. Now let's look at what's a migration. So here's an installation question. What if you want to upgrade from 2008 to 2012 and run the computer system on a larger computer? What if you want to upgrade and run the system on a larger computer? And this is called migration. With migration, it upgrades the operating system from 2008 to 2012, and it moves everything to a different computer, usually a bigger computer. And this is typically done if you plan to virtualize the server. When you virtualize the server, you run the server as a virtual machine on a large data center server, and of course we will cover virtualization in greater detail in Chapter 7. So when we do migration, you got 2 steps. First, you install a clean copy of server 2012 on the new server, and then you migrate the roles from the old server. So let's install server migration tools. After we install 2012 on the new computer, then we install the server migration tools on the new computer. Then we copy it to a distribution folder and copy that distribution folder to the old computer. So server migration tools will be both on the old computer as well as the new computer. And once the server migration tools has been installed, then we can do the migration. So let's do the installation of the migration tools on the newer server. So we go to Server Manager and we select Manage, and under Manage we select Add Roles and Features. We click on Add Roles and Features, and we select Next, and we select Role-Based or Feature-Based Installation. We select Next. We select the server that we are currently working on, Server 1, followed by Next. And actually, we are not going to install a role. Click on Next. We are going to install a feature. So I scroll down, and the feature I want is Windows Server Migration Tools. Windows Server Migration Tools includes Windows PowerShell commandlets that facilitate migration of server roles, operating system settings, files, and sharers from computers that are running earlier versions of Windows Server. So I select Server Migration Tools followed by Next. Then I click on Install, and it installs Server Migration Tools. So now Server Migration Tools has been installed on this computer. Now the next thing to do is to go to the command prompt and create a distribution folder which will be distributed to the other server. To get to the command prompt, we press the Windows key and we type CMD, and that takes us to the command prompt. So what I will do is I will CD to the /Windows /System32 / Server Migration Tools folder, which was created when we installed it. And now that I'm in that folder, I will use the Server Migration Deploy command to copy all of those tools to the /distrib folder. I am copying the migration tools to a folder called /distrib. So I press the Enter key, and then it copies the files to the folder called /distrib. Now what I want to do is I want to copy that distribution folder to the other server. So I type not copy but xcopy, because xcopy takes not just files but folders and subdirectories as well. I type xcopy /distrib /star.star, which means all files, /s, and /s means take the folders, all the subfolders as well. And then the destination will be /server /C$, and C$ is a hidden share on the root of all servers, followed by distrib2, which is the destination folder. It's copying from one server to the other. I press the enter key, it says files or directory, and then it copies all the files from the new server to the old server. Then I go to the old server and I install the migration tools. I mean, I copied over the files, but now I need to install. So I go to the C drive and I CD into that folder which was created, the distrib folder, server migration tools, WS, Windows 08, x86, and I press the enter key and now I'm in that folder. And then what I do is I simply type server migration deploy, smig deploy, which is server migration deploy, and all that does is it installs the migration tools in the older server. Then we add the migration tools PowerShell Snapin. The migration tools PowerShell Snapin is used to migrate the roles from the old server to the new one. So to get to PowerShell, I go to the taskbar at the bottom and I click on the PowerShell icon, which is the little blue greater than sign. This takes me to the PowerShell command prompt. And then I use the add PowerShell Snapin command. I type add PowerShell Snapin Microsoft.windows.servermanager.migration tools, and that does it. That copies and installs the migration tools Snapin. So after server migration tools is installed, then I can use migration tools to migrate the roles one at a time from the old server to the new server. Migration upgrades the operating system from 2008 to 2012, and it moves everything to a different computer, usually a bigger computer. For more information, go to technut.microsoft.com, and under Windows Server Migration, under Migration Guidelines, you will see there is information on installing and removing Windows Server Migration tools. Now let's discuss Server Core. Windows Server Core is an edition of Windows Server 2012 that has no graphical user interface. It has command line only, and I know that's harder to do, but it has a much lower overhead. If we log on to a server core by typing the administrator's name and password, when I get to server core, command prompt, that's all you get. No graphical user interface. So what if I want to set the IP address? I can't go to control panel. I have to know the command line command to set the IP address, and that command is the netsh, the net shell command. If I type netsh interface followed by this IP address, that will assign this IP address to the Ethernet card on this server. Another command that I could use is the server config command. If I type server config, it allows me to change the domain, rename the computer, add a local administrator, various settings which we will look at as we go through the course. Another command we might use, command line command, is the diskpart command. Now you already know how to create and format a partition from the computer management console using the graphical user interface. From the command line interface, you can use diskpart to create and format partitions and volumes. And then to shut down, as you already know, you can use shutdown-R, and that will shut down as well as restart the computer. Server Core, with Server Core there is no graphical user interface. It's command line only, and the reason we like it is it has a much lower overhead. And Server Core will be covered in greater detail in Chapter 2. Summary. In this chapter we discussed the purpose of Windows Server 2012, and of course that depends which role you have installed, whether it's DHCP server or domain controller. We looked at the additions of Server 2012. We looked at installation, configuration, navigating Server 2012. We looked at different installation methods, and we looked at Server core. Otherwise, this concludes Chapter 1. Thank you very much.